Well, hey there, how you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Simeon here, glad you can join me today. Well, we're here to talk about the multiverse. And first of all, welcome to 2021. If you've been following my channel, you know we've been talking about lots of interesting subjects over the years. I appreciate all your comments. And really what it comes down to is this. Is there any evidence or data to support the idea that we live in a multiverse? Now, I've made a lot of videos about this. I tweet about it a lot on my Twitter account, which you should sign up for if you're not already on there. And a lot of us have gotten in these discussions, you know, whether the multiverse idea makes sense, you know, versus the traditional Copenhagen idea, you know, wave collapse versus the idea that nothing's collapsing, all the possibilities exist, hence the multiverse. Comes out of the Schrödinger wave function. It isn't really like rocket science or anything. It's just an extension of the way quantum mechanics already works. But some of you have said, hey, there's no evidence for this and so forth. So here's what I would like to do. I would like you to look in your life over the next couple months or year or so, and let me know if you see any evidence in your life of any multiverse effects. Now, what would some of these multiverse effects look like? Evidence that we're living not just in a universe, but in a multiverse. And what that's going to look like is a discontinuity in time or space in your life. And I'm wondering if you've experienced this somewhere. We've talked about this in relationship to the different phenomena we've looked at on this channel, the kind of spatial or temporal discontinuities that sort of don't logically make sense, but you can see that there's evidence for it. Like with resonant viewing, something we've covered here a lot on the channel, something I spend time teaching to people, something I do myself. You get information from the future precognitively, or you feel like you're at the same time as now, but in a different location. That's kind of like a non-local discontinuity as far as our kind of traditional sense of space and time go. So I'm wondering if you're experiencing any of these types of discontinuities in your life. You know what I'm talking about. Something that just doesn't make sense, but you definitely experience it. Maybe you find yourself in a different location without knowing how you got there. Something shows up physically that shouldn't be in your local presence. Just a variety of phenomena that seem like it just was too much of a gap for the way space-time should work based on the way we understand it from sort of a classical Newtonian point of view. Some people have called it quantum jumping. Actually, Schrödinger was the one who actually made the joke about that. You might have heard about quantum jumping, but Schrödinger was the one who said, if I had known that my ideas were going to lead to all this quantum jumping, I might have never invented quantum mechanics in the first place. At least his contribution to it, the wave function, which, you know, gives us this probabilistic sense of the way that any sort of system can evolve over time. So the real idea is, if we're looking for evidence of a multiverse, do you see that in your life somewhere that it's a little too soon for science to detect? Now, if you're looking at this video right now, you and I are in the same multiverse. And I think it's quite possible, let me just be honest about this, that we're already experiencing some of these effects, but we just don't know how to interpret it. You know what I mean? It's like no one taught us what a multiverse effect is. The idea that there are different parallel realities around you, and sometimes your consciousness is jumping over to another one and then back to this one again, something like that. And somehow your conscious mind is glossing this over, or you've never talked about it with someone because it doesn't make any sense. You know, that sort of thing. I suspect, this is my bias here, that people are having these experiences. Like we know a lot of people have experienced UAPs, UFOs. Some people have experienced encounters with Bigfoot. You know, we had an interview recently with someone on this channel and her husband who had witnessed Bigfoot. At least she had witnessed Bigfoot directly. as a kid. And I'm wondering whether people have experienced these sort of phenomena and then don't talk about it. And it could be true with these sort of spatial and temporal anomalies. We could be experiencing these individually, but we're not sharing them yet. And if you've had one of these types of experiences, I think it'd be interesting if you let me know. So put your comments in the box below and let me know what sort of space-time anomalies you've experienced in your life. People sometimes experience these, just from my experience, in and around crop circles, where there's sort of missing time or time didn't move correctly. In the video we had recently with Jules and her husband, Noel, he talked about kind of seeing this strobe light on his property in the middle of the night. He goes down there, and for him, his perspective, he's only gone 15 minutes or so, 20, but Jules says he was gone for over an hour. Doesn't quite make sense. People have experienced this around Bigfoot and cryptid type animals, certainly experienced this around UFO encounters. And I'm kind of wondering whether this is a manifestation of something underlying that's sort of similar. And the only way we're going to find out is if we start to assemble the evidence ourselves. So if you've had an experience of this, put it in the box below. I'm just curious. Or if you don't want to make it public, just find a way to contact me and let me know what your experiences are. I think it'd be interesting if we compare our experiences and find maybe we're all experiencing some of the same anomalies that don't add up, but we're not talking about it for the same reason a lot of these witnesses that we've interviewed here on this channel and so forth don't talk about it. It's not easy to talk about something that's not considered socially acceptable, especially when it comes to your sense of reality. We all don't want to appear, some of us really weird and strange to our neighbors and friends or employees. I mean, I guess I've gotten past that point now. I don't really care anymore. Maybe you don't. But here's the bottom line. If you've experienced it, let me know. Put your comments in the box below, and we'll start seeing if there is some sort of evidence for a multiverse effect, that is some sort of other reality coming into your life really quickly, that disappearing again. Maybe you only had it happen once. Maybe it happened when you were a kid. Something that just doesn't quite add up. I think you know what I'm talking about. And if it doesn't make sense, put your comments in the box below. I'll explain it further. But that's my idea about it. So I'm going to thank you in advance for your contributions. Thanks again for watching my channel. Appreciate it. Have a good one, and we will see you in the next video. Take care for now, and bye.